Twitter hack. Did you hear about the Twitter hack? Oh, this was a very interesting story. I mean, this thing went out on Twitter, which, I mean, it's kind of hard even to believe it, to be honest with you. It's kind of hard to even believe it because you read the tweets that went out, and it's like, how could people fall for this? How could they fall for this? But Vice President Joe Biden, President Obama, both of their Twitter accounts were hacked. Jeff Bezos, the chairman of Amazon, Bill Gates, Kanye West, Mike Bloomberg, Elon Musk, and all of these folks had tweets come out of their Twitter account that said something approximating the following. Quote, I am giving back to the community. All Bitcoin sent to the address below will be sent back doubled. If you send $1,000, I will send back $2,000. Only doing
How generous.
Only doing this for 30 minutes. And then they gave you a little address that if you're a Bitcoin person, you could send your Bitcoin to that address, right? For purposes of doubling it, right?
See, this just ruins it because now when they're really going to do that, they're not going to want to do it because people think it's a fake. I'm being sarcastic.
I mean,
they're never going to do
on.
it, okay? They're never going to do that.
What is the deal? Give me money first. It's some untraceable Bitcoin address, right? And by the way, this is really President Obama speaking. This is what I'm doing in my free time now. I mean, it's just amazing to me that people fell for this. You give me the money first to my secret Bitcoin address. You don't even know whose address that is. Just send the money to it. Don't worry. We'll send it back, and we'll double it before we send it back. I mean, who thought this? Apparently, at least $100,000 was stolen in this way in the 30 minutes or so that this little hack thing was going on. And then Twitter sort of exploded. Twitter wound up shutting down all the blue check accounts, is what I heard, at least temporarily. They went down for about a day. Nobody could access their accounts. Nobody could tweet. And, you know, but you're just going, my take on it, when I heard it, I was talking to a friend of mine, and we're always talking about this economic stuff and, you know, what the country should be doing or shouldn't be doing in terms of bailouts and free money that we seem to be getting addicted to. And my take on it is that people have gotten so used to this concept of free money being just given away. I mean, are you kidding me? You think somebody's just going to double your money? Well, these were trustworthy people. These were leaders in the community. Wouldn't your first thought be their account must have gotten hacked?
Kanye's going to do it if he becomes president.
Well, yeah, that's right. He's going to give everybody who has a baby $1 million. Well, and that's what I say to some of these people that want to give away money with this universal.
Who's having another baby again?
That's right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, well, you know what? You better make sure you hold off a little bit here. Make sure you time it right so you get the Kanye. You were talking about
no
you.
more. I was talking about me making a joke, but
all right.
That ship has sailed. No,
the ship has sailed. You set the ship on fire in the harbor. That's what you did, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
So. But no, I mean, people are getting so used to this idea, this concept of free money. Just somebody's just going to give you $1,000. In fact, the way you make your living in this life is you go around and you stack up a bunch of these instances where you get the free money. You know, I mean, I'm just people are completely losing track of what it means to earn a living, and that's not something easy. That's not something you just do by clicking a link somewhere on a social media post. That's not how you earn a living. But in this country, that's what they're trying to switch us over to. And I view this as kind of part and parcel. I mean, not the hack itself. The hack is symptomatic of what's going on, though, with the concept of giving away money. But, you know, when I'm talking about it, it's like, well, we're going to give everybody, you know, $1,200. We're going to give everybody, you know, $600 a week in extra unemployment benefits. And now they're talking about taking those away. Or we're going to give these PPP loans away, and we're not even going to make people pay them back. Okay, all right, I understand all that. I hear all that. And my question to this is, why are you being so cheap? I mean, if you can just print money up, and it really doesn't matter, and it doesn't have an effect on the economy, why aren't you doing the Kanye? Why aren't you just giving everybody $1 million every time they sneeze? I mean, why aren't we coming? I mean, why are you being so cheap? Why is it only $1,200? Why isn't it $120,000? And seriously, if you can answer that question for me, which you won't be able to do, that's the key. You won't be able to tell me why it shouldn't be more money. If this concept works logically, and you can just make things better by giving people money, by printing it out of thin air and giving it to people. Give them more. But the truth is this concept doesn't work, and what we're seeing...
It just evens out. If everybody gets the same given out, then nothing's happened. Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. Everybody's still got zero, even though they've got $100,000 in their pocket. $100,000 now becomes the new zero. And you look at countries where they've had this kind of runaway inflation, and you see that's what happens. People are carting around wheelbarrows full of dollar bills. And of course, that wouldn't happen in today's world in America because I think they'll very quickly be switching us to some kind of digital currency. Very quickly, put it in 5 years maybe. We'll be switched over. You won't be allowed to use cash anymore. They'll have something about, cash can spread viruses and, cash is a tool of criminals and all these other things that try to destroy cash, which cash is privacy, right? That's a non-tracked financial transaction. And they don't want any non-tracked financial transactions.
Coins are disappearing.
Oh, we're having a shortage of coins all of a sudden. I mean, come on. Anyway, this is all about getting rid of cash, in my opinion. It's all about destroying the use of cash, and that's what's coming. And then we'll have no control over anything, and you'll just have a bunch of credits on your bank balance. And at the same time, and we won't say that anybody's doing this as part of a plan, a concerted effort, but at the same time, small businesses across this country are being completely destroyed by this shutdown. I think 40 or 50%, and this is a Yelp study. This is not some alarmist paper or something. I shared this with some friends of mine, and one of them kind of criticizes, says, I see that on Zero Hedge. Well, you really can't trust what Zero Hedge says. Well, yeah, you always can't until they were right 6 months ahead of time, which is what you always find out with the Zero Hedge stories. But leaving that aside, it was a Zero Hedge story that was just quoting a Yelp study, a study by Yelp, that bastion of conservative right-wing ideology, right? No, just a business, probably left-wing actually at its core. I mean, who knows? Most of these Silicon Valley companies are. But a Yelp study said that 40%, and I think they've even upped it to 50%, of the businesses with listings on Yelp are permanently closed now. They're never coming back. You're talking about little hair salons. You're talking about restaurants. You're talking about all these little businesses that people have poured their lives into that make a living for one or two people. You got the business owner or maybe 5 people. You've got some employees. And these businesses are engines of, economic activity that create wealth for the people that work there.
And that 50% that are still afloat are barely keeping their head above water.
Right. The number could go up with the new shutdowns and everything else. So what are we going to have? We're not going to have a middle class. We're not going to have a functioning entrepreneurial system where, and I'm not talking about big-time entrepreneurs like the Jeff Bezos types. That we don't need more of those, although there's nothing wrong with that. But we need mom-and-pop entrepreneurs. We need people running their own little shops, employing a couple of other people, and having that occur all over this country. That's what creates the middle class. That's what creates a broad spread of wealth for everyone. And what instead they want to switch to, it seems to me, the powers that be, I don't know, the people that seem to be in control, the big financial institutions, all the regulators, they want to eliminate small business from this country. And the coronavirus has given them the perfect excuse to do that with the shutdowns. Now, again, I'm not saying this is some kind of a part of a plan, but this is what is occurring. And so we're going to get rid of all the ability for people to make their own living, and everybody's going to get switched over to this government dole model, which is what they want. You just receive your check from the government. Now you're totally beholden to the government. It is a true nanny state from, the cradle to the grave. The state takes care of your every need. And now we're getting into the total, system of total authoritarianism, communism, where the state essentially replaces God in terms of the moral hierarchy. The state establishes morality based on what's good for the state. The state becomes the highest moral authority in life. That's the way it is in communist countries. They don't believe in God in communist countries. In fact, it's not allowed to believe in God. You're not allowed in communist countries, because that undermines the authority of the state, which is all powerful. And that's what China is, right? I mean, it's sort of been, they've been polished up lately, China has. And it's supposed to be this, China's some new open, vibrant society. They're showing you how to do authoritarianism right. But you know what? At their core, it's still just a communist country. Now, have they been fairly successful? Yeah, but they've been enabled by what we've been doing for 25 years. They've been totally enabled to grow with one set of rules for everybody else, and we don't apply any rules to China. We bring them into the World Trade Organization. We let them have companies over here own things in the U.S., own real estate. You know, U.S. companies can't go own real estate in China. You can't have a business in China unless you're Chinese and sanctioned by the Chinese government. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.